Hey everybody, welcome to GeekyKOOL Presents. This is Geeky Cinephiles. I'm Larry the Professor, and over here is our good buddy Joe, and we're gonna talk some movies because we love movies. Tonight we've got a treat for you. We're gonna talk about the 1987 classic and pretty much a cult classic of Raising Arizona. So we were both given this as an assignment from a request from one of our viewers to be able to discuss this. You had never seen it before, is that right, Joe?
No, never seen it.
Okay, I actually saw it in the theaters at a drive-in, so I've
Did you
seen
really?
the yeah, oh yeah. Well, I grew up in a little town that we would drive 30 minutes to another little town to watch movies in the drive-in, and that
Okay,
other
yeah.
little town was four times bigger, so it had the fancy movie theater.
Did you know ahead of time that it was a movie you wanted to see, or was it just
I saw the previews for it and remember thinking that looks funny. So I did
yeah?
want to see it. I didn't know that much about it, didn't really understand the humor level that was going to be in it. But yeah, I did know I did want to see it ahead of time. So
Okay, okay.
yeah. I remember the trailers going, okay, that looks funny. So let's check that out. There wasn't a whole lot to do in my town, so it was like, okay. In the summertime, either Friday or Saturday night, you have to go to the drive-in. So
Yeah, I missed drive-ins.
yeah. Um, yeah, I missed several movies in the drive-in also while I was in the drive-in, but
Yeah, and
didn't
arcades aren't
catch what
even.
was going on. Anyway, so all right, so let's talk a little bit about Raising Arizona. So Raising Arizona, of course, stars. Oh boy, where did my thing go here? It stars Nicolas Cage and Helen Hunter, and John Goodman is also starring in this movie with him. Several other people, but the big two are Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter, and they are a unique couple. Nicolas Cage plays Hi or Hi, who's a thief, but not a very good thief. He robs stores, but he never loads his gun, so that way it's not armed robbery because it never is loaded. He meets Holly Hunter's character Ed, short for Edwin, and she is a police officer, and she's the girl who's always booking him and sending him off to prison. And they start a romance of sorts with her booking him several different times. They fall in love. He decides to go straight and not do any more crime because all they can think about is about Ed. And they go off and get married, and they live in a trailer house in the middle of the desert in Arizona.
Van down by the river.
Exactly. So they, with them living there, everything's going along great. He gets a job at a machine shop that he doesn't seem to like, and a lot of people annoy him, but he's willing to do that for his family. And they decide to start trying to have a baby and run into all sorts of problems with not being able to have a baby, which is kind of some of the descriptions of that's pretty funny as far as what the doctor's saying and everything else. There's this is truly a dark humor kind of movie, a dark humor. I forget what they call it, but yeah, it's very much a dark humor kind of movie, but a lot of tongue in cheek stuff, a lot of stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, that's too wild. So, but after a while, one of the rich people in Arizona, and the guy has a unfinished unfinished furniture store. So you have to fit, all the wood is unfinished, so you got to redo it yourself. And he ends up having quintuplets, and they decide that him and his wife has too many kids to take care of. So I and Ed decide to steal them a baby. One of the
Yeah,
funniest scenes in the whole thing is, "Hi, you get back up there and you get me a baby." So the
because
cop is the
yeah,
cop is pressuring the con to go up and steal a baby so they can have a baby together. And they pick up Nathan Jr. and start their adventures. In the meantime, a couple of brothers escape from prison in one of the wildest escape scenes ever. We're like,
Yeah.
what is going on? It's like the ground is giving birth to John Goodman, and
Yeah.
they escape and make their way to High's house because they all met in prison, and all sorts of hijinks happen, including different people stealing the baby and lots of other humorous things. Here's a picture for our movie, so people, yep, it's Raising Arizona. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of the gist of it, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Wanted to kind of share what the basic idea of the show was. So that's what basically happens in the movie as a general plot point. So you can, go watch it. We don't give away too many of the details for all the funny scenes, but there are some wild and crazy scenes in this movie. Stealing Pampers from the convenience store, and then the cops coming and running into the grocery store, and all these dogs following you. Yeah, just all sorts of things. You're just like, that's absolutely funny. So
Yeah. There was a lot going on.
it was constant something going on, and it's never just kind of a normal day. It's all sorts of weird fun chaos.
Yeah. Well, tell me what you thought of it.
I love this movie, and I do because I went to see it in the theater, and I kind of fell in love with it. I'm like, this is just the weird craziness that I think is absolutely fun. It's just a fun movie. Some of the lines are great. Boy, you got a panty on your head. When the guy in the pickup truck stops to pick him up, and he's wearing hose. He's wearing women's hose over his face so he could shelter who he actually was. Yeah.
Yeah. And he locked the keys in the car while he was robbing a convenience store. Had to run instead.
Well, his wife drove off with the car.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But she's mad at him for going back to being a thief and robbing convenience stores. Because the line when he goes up to the counter, he's carrying the Pampers. I'll take these here, their Pampers, and any spare cash you got in the cash register. Oh my gosh.
Thief at heart.
No, I love this movie. I think the interaction between Nicolas Cage and Helen Hunter is absolutely adorable most of the time. We've all known those heartache couples that can't have kids and just they'd love to do just anything. They'd probably not go as far as stealing a baby from another couple, but yeah. So, but yes, so it's kind of a wild thing. There's a bounty hunter that comes looking for him, and is kind of this menacing figure who is so mean that he throws grenades and blows up bunny rabbits, and
Yeah.
It's absurdity at points, but it's very funny absurdity. So,
well, Nicolas Cage, or High, as his name is.
Yep.
High stands H-I.
H-I or High.
Yeah, he has a dream about him, but he'd never seen him or heard of him, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that was one of my interesting questions was how did he have a dream about this guy and actually saw the exact same guy? It wasn't varied at all, it was the exact same guy.
It was prophetic.
Yeah.
A dream about the future, the guy would show up, and he shows up.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure he has the dream about him even before they go get the baby.
Yeah, he does. Hi.
Yep.
Yeah. What else do you think about it?
Well, this movie is definitely not for everybody. This is not the kind of humor that some people will get. But it's my kind of humor, so I just found it so fun, and the characters being so creative. Going back and rewatching it again, and I own this movie, so it's not the first time I've gone back and rewatched it. But going back and rewatching it and kind of looking at things, I'm like, this is the gags in it are very funny. There's some interesting trivia with some of that also on what some of the names meant and where they were at and where he was working and stuff like that. But it's a very I found it just an extremely fun movie. I loved it to death, and again, I own it, so I knew I would like it when somebody said, "Oh, you should review this." I'm like, "Okay, well now twist my arm hard and make me review a movie I like."
Right. And no offense to anybody who likes this movie. Honestly, I went online and looked at reviews for this
Yep,
movie,
yep,
and I couldn't find hardly any negative reviews. It was all, "I love this film,
yep. You're
great."
right.
So no offense to anyone. It seems like I didn't quite get it. I didn't quite get their dialogue. It seems like it's kind of all over the place. So you can't decide if it's about real people or comic exaggerations. Um,
I think it's very much an exaggeration. It's very much a comedy of exaggerations of what's going on. Um, at the very beginning of the movie, it's set in '87. The beginning of the movie, he blames his life of crime on Ronald Reagan.
yeah, yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's very much that humor that you're really using the absurdity to try to prove your point and get your humor across. So, but yeah, so it wasn't for you. It wasn't your kind of movie.
Well, I'm
It-
not saying that. I'm saying I watched it. Joel and Ethan Coen are very
yeah,
established filmmakers,
they
and
are the Coen brothers. Yep.
they know what they're doing, and their movies are always kind of particular, specific, and
They definitely are.
you get a lot of praise for it. So I'm not saying it wasn't mine for me. I've never been a big fan of the things they do. I feel like sometimes they shove all of this stuff into one little story,
Right.
and I feel like they kind of did that with this one.
They did.
Um, the sub the subplot of the brothers,
Uh-huh.
it felt necessary. And if they're going for humor, sure, but you already had somebody coming to get the baby or coming for high, and then you bring in these two prisoners. Even at the end of the movie, I asked my girlfriend. I said, "What were they there for?" And she said, "Well, they did kidnap the baby." And it's like, okay,
Right. They kidnapped the baby. They are also showing the friendship level that High had. Because his type of relationships are different than what Ed would have had with the police department, being a criminal. He
yeah,
is going to bring in different groups. It also they were put in there to be able to give friction between the couple, because them being there caused a lot of problems between
yeah, that's
High
true.
and Ed. So that was part of what's going on, is it's breaking down that relationship to try to build it back up.
Good
Um,
point.
yeah, so that's kind of part of what they were there for. Plus, it's John Goodman's first movie
Oh,
appearance, I
really?
believe. So yeah,
Wow.
fresh out of Missouri State University. Back then, it was Southwest Missouri State University back in the day. But
Oh, good
fresh
man.
out of Springfield, Missouri, going to college, he goes and yeah,
Wow, I didn't know that.
yep, John Goodman, baby. John
Was
Goodman
he?
and Kathleen Turner, both from college in Springfield. So yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Was he in theater, or how did he get into this
yeah.
deal?
He was a theater major in college,
Wow, that's cool.
and him and Kathleen Turner both. And of course, Brad Pitt grew up in Springfield. I don't think he went to Missouri. I don't think he went to Missouri State, but he grew up in Springfield. But both Kathleen Turner and John Goodman were in the drama department for here in Springfield. Yeah, back in the day.
Is there an homage to their homes they had there? Like, does everybody go by and say that's where John Goodman lived?
Well, I don't. I think they just went to college here. I don't think they actually lived here, either one, other than for their college years. So I've not seen anything about that. I'm pretty sure they're both from other places. So
I feel like the basic idea of the movie is good.
right,
Um, you got some talented cast and people. Um, it just feels like a lot was shoved in there sometimes. The
and I think it
music,
was meant to be. This movie did not breathe at all. It basically one thing after another, after another, after another. Very high paced, ludicrous stuff going on.
yeah, they did a really good job of the climax, which is essentially it's the scene before the bounty hunter gets the baby,
Right,
where they're
right,
all being towards this direction and they all get there kind of at the same time. They did a really good
right.
job of that.
Yeah,
And some of the camera angles are really good. They're
they definitely are.
yeah, and a good camera angle. You know, a lot of people don't look at that, but a good camera angle is one that you shouldn't have to point out. It should just flow with the movie. So
And it did. It did. You have several scenes like that to where you've got that flow going on of what's going on. The running through the grocery store, I think, is a good example of that
yeah,
also. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So,
The dream with Smalls,
uh-huh.
the dream with that hi hat with Smalls in it, has the motorcycle with the only thing you could see is the flames of the tailpipe.
Right.
That was pretty cool, ominous, I thought.
It was. Well, it set you up. It was that thing to where you show this knowing that it's going to show up again later. Okay, we're going to
Right.
see this later. How do we get to that thing?
Yeah. I did find the dialogue somewhat challenging when I didn't have the subtitles on, and so I had some little bit of problem understanding them at times.
Okay.
But it's creative. It's creative dialogue. I guess the Coen brothers worked with people in Arizona and created kind of a dialect. So
Right. Right.
it's pretty cool because I don't think everybody in Arizona talks like that.
No, not everyone. Just probably more of a certain sect of people that are lower income
Yeah, yeah.
and probably in
I
certain areas. Yeah.
Sure. Um, the Coen brothers do a really good job of creating villains, if you haven't
They
noticed,
do. Yeah.
and they pour everything they have into their villains. You know, No Country for Old Men. That villain was scary,
Yep.
and Fargo.
Yep.
That villain was scary. What else? But this one, this villain reminded me of that. They made him very scary, very powerful.
Right. Right. Well,
Yeah,
he goes to see the father to try to get the father to give him a higher bounty, and the father already put was it $25,000 bounty out for his son, and he's like, well, we'll bring my son to collect the bounty, and he's like, no, no, I want you to pay me more than that. Well, why would I do that? Oh, because if you don't, I can get 40,000 for him on the black market. So why wouldn't I just take him to the black market? And so he makes the threat of taking this guy's baby, going and finding it just to sell it on the black market. So you're like, oh, not a good guy at all.
it's so funny to think $25,000 for ransom. I know it was 87, but man, there wasn't even that much money at 87, right?
True. Well, and it was thought to be more of a finder's fee or
Oh,
a reward. If
that's
you're a good citizen and you can help find the baby, you get this reward. So
yeah.
it was a substantial reward. Nobody was calling to try to ransom him. So that was the thing. They were offering a
That's true.
reward. So that
That's a
I think
reward.
that's part of the difference. But if you're doing a ransom on somebody who's very rich, yeah, you would think it'd be $1 million or something like that. But
Yeah.
yep.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show how much times have changed because if that was a decent amount back then, it's not much now.
Well, I would take it.
I would, yeah.
Somebody wants to give
But
me $25,000 as a reward. Okay, I'm in.
yeah, but the guy didn't want to pay 50,000 to get his kid back, as it wasn't.
Well, right, right. Well, I think the whole idea was you were going to pay him no matter what. And then, right. So, and then, you didn't want the guy extorting him, which is kind of what it was. Like, okay, I'm offering this. Like, okay, no, no, for you to get him back, you're going to pay me this or else.
The music was interesting. It was what, a banjo, and then there was,
Some banjos, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
I had it somewhere. Where was it? All kinds of stuff. Banjo, whistling, yodeling, an
yep, yep.
organ.
A lot of that. Yeah, which is, you would think more the more like West Virginia or even Missouri for that sort of thing. But yeah, I didn't know that was kind of a thing for Arizona. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Who did you see it with in 1987?
A group of buddies.
Okay. You guys all probably laughed about laughed
We
at it
did.
together.
We thought, there were definitely funny parts in it. You know, the very ironic parts of it, we found very funny. So yeah, there
Yeah.
there may have also been some beverages at that point. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I can't confirm or deny that. I don't have a vivid memory for sure, but I do know at one point sneaking certain beverages that we weren't old enough for into the drive-in was one of the things we did. So
Oh no, no one's
yeah,
ever done that.
I know, right? I also went and saw several movies with girls, but I remember this movie. I think I went with a group of buddies to watch it. So yeah. So yeah, but
Uh,
yeah, we had a good time with it. We thought it was just ironically crazy and fun, and I like from my love of um, oh my gosh, of some of the other movies that we've done that are just kind of the crazy weird stuff that I like. So yeah, it fits with me. So
yeah. Um, where does it rank in terms of your Coen brother movies?
that's a good question. Let me go look at a
Brother,
list of theirs. Yeah. Well, see, and I've never seen Brother, Where Art Thou? Mainly because I hate country music, and I'm like, why would I see this? And then I'm like, oh, it's
yeah,
the story of the Odyssey. I know the Odyssey. Now, so part of me would be willing to give it a try, but I just had too many friends that were listening to the soundtracks and they came out. I'm like, not my style of music. Sorry, I'm out. So
I had a buddy. I had a buddy that would sing that main song all the time. Drove me nuts.
yeah, I can
I
see
don't.
that.
I saw it. I didn't finish it. Again, it was kind of the Coen brothers. I guess their humor and the way they shoot things. I guess this isn't my cup of tea. It was
well,
okay, but
yeah.
I don't understand why everybody or a lot of people talk about it. The same way with Big Lebowski. And if I say Big Lebowski is not that great, people will lose their.
They do lose their mind with that one, and I do like the Big Lebowski also. So that
It's
is
okay.
one that, yeah, I get that. It's not. It's one of those things that's just not there for everybody, and I totally understand why. It's definitely it's certain people having certain tastes there. Probably Fargo. Their version of True Grit was really good, also.
Yeah, that
Um,
was good.
but Raising Arizona, probably, I'll be honest, I think Raising Arizona for me sits at the top of the list, but that's just because I have very fond memories of it, and I associate it with one of my favorite times in my life, right? You're at 16, 17, you go to the drive-in with your friends, you're hanging out, you're all talking, you're watching this crazy movie, so that's probably why. I'm sure it's the association I have with it that's part of why I love it so much. So yeah, but no,
I
they're go ahead.
and I'm over here being the wet blanket.
No. This is why we do it. We can disagree, and that's perfectly okay. We're
Sure,
Siskel and Ebert here,
yeah. He
but
very well could be one of those movies that later in life I'm like, oh yeah, I do like this movie.
yeah, it could
Um,
be. It could be something that grows on you. So let's talk
yeah,
about what other people think. As you mentioned, there's a lot of love for this movie out there. It's a very early Nicolas Cage movie. He did some other movies, Valley Girl, and several other movies. Had a little spot in
Fast
in
Times, Original
Fast
High.
Times at Ridgemont High. So he had some other ones, but this one he starred in, which was pretty amazing. And but yeah. So here's the interesting thing for you. The critics gave it on Rotten Tomatoes a 91%. The fans gave it an 85%. So the critics like this movie better than the fans, which is interesting because you read a lot of the fan stuff that they love this.
Yeah.
Um, so On IMDb, it's a 7.3 out of 10. So you have people that love this movie and like this movie, but it's not. Some of these movies are mid 80s to upper 90s, and this is not one of those. So it doesn't have. It has its critics there also. And then on Letterboxd, it gives it a 3.9 out of 5. So that's a pretty good rating. That's probably a B or so there. So it has love, but it's not praised continually by everybody.
Yeah,
It's hard to find a review that hates it. You're right. It is hard to find those reviews that say how terrible it is.
Yeah, a lot of them said best movie ever, favorite movie ever.
Yeah, and I don't put it there. I don't put it there at all. But I do love this movie. It's one of those things where I almost think of it as Buckaroo Banzai in my mind, as far as I love this movie more than it probably should be loved. But I have this great association with it. So I think that's part of it. It is very unique. It's different, and I like different and weird movies. So that's
it's not dumb. It's funny humor. It's clever. It's definitely not stupid humor.
Well, I love stupid humor too. I'm looking forward to the new Naked Gun movie. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
It makes me laugh. I'm all good with that. So.
Man.
But so people. Go ahead.
No, you go. Do you want some fun facts?
Yeah, give me some fun facts.
Okay. Raising Arizona ranks 31st on the American Film Institute's 100 Laughs list.
There you go.
45th on Bravo's 100 funniest movies list.
Okay. There you go.
Started working on this movie, and they wanted to do, like you mentioned earlier, the exact opposite of the first film. Have you seen Blood Simple, their first film?
I have never seen that, to be honest.
Yeah, they wanted to make it as different as possible from this, and they wanted to speed up it was a comedy and not a thriller, to sped up the process. And then I guess the relationship between Nick Cage and the Coens was respectful but turbulent.
Right, because the Coens knew what they wanted to do, and Nicolas Cage had several ideas, and they just ignored them. Yeah.
Yeah, he said they had an autocratic nature, the Coen brothers did.
And if you're making the movie, you can be that way if that's how you're going to do things. I mean, you can. I wouldn't want to do that, but yeah, I know people that do that.
If you wrote the movie, you're going to want it to go a certain way. I understand that.
Right.
I understand not wanting to give. So.
I do too.
Yeah.
The haircut that High has is based off of Woody Woodpecker. And,
it is.
And they made his hair get bigger anytime he was stressed. So if something stressful was going on, you look at his hair, it's bigger.
Okay,
and they put that in there. Yeah.
That's fun. I like that. Okay, and, I like it a little bit more
Yeah.
now.
And I forget what the first name is on Mr. Arizona that owns the factory, or not the factory, owns the furniture stores. But his name has to do with what was it? Let me see if I can find that again. His name was basically a region of Arizona. So it was kind of tongue-in-cheek and a play to Arizona there.
That's right. Wasn't his real last name.
Right. He changed his name.
Yeah. If you can find a better price, I'm not Nathan, Arizona. Always selling.
Right, Nathan. That's right, Nathan, Arizona. Right, exactly. Yeah, even when he's on the TV about his son being kidnapped, that's where he goes, and that's a true salesman there. The opening credits lasted 11 minutes.
Are you serious?
The opening scene, yeah. Before they roll the credits, that time from the time it starts to when they actually go to the credit little thing there, it is 11 minutes. Yeah.
Wow. How'd you find that? Did you just
I
Take
looked up some trivia stuff the other day on it because I was curious.
that's
The For the babies, they had 15 total babies for their quintuplets that they rotated in and out. One of them started learning to walk while they were on set, and so they actually fired him because they didn't want the babies to walk.
you got to fire that baby.
Right? I'm like, wow, that's pretty intense, right? Um, it's a shared universe with another Coen Brothers movie called Hudsucker Proxy. And
Okay.
HI works for a company called Hudsucker Industries. The
Okay.
Hudsucker Proxy is a movie that they did in 1994. Originally, they were going to do it before they did Raising Arizona, and then decided to go ahead and do Raising Arizona first. It was not going to. They thought the Hudsucker Proxy was going to cost them too much to do that first. So.
Okay. Did you see it?
No, I've never seen that one either.
Either.
The the Tex Cobb character uh, could not. He couldn't actually ride a motorcycle. He didn't know how to ride before the movie, and so there was a scene where he crashes into a wall because he mismanaged his motorcycle. Um,
Which scene is that? I don't remember.
well, and it doesn't actually show him doing that because they cut that.
Okay.
They were filming and he crashed, and so they had to refilm it. So that wasn't intended to make it.
Wow. Yeah, he plays a good bad guy in a lot of movies.
He does. I agree.
Well, so what grade do you give it, Larry?
Well, I'm going to be very gracious and give it a high grade because I do love this movie a lot, and like I said, I own it. I'm giving it a B plus. It still stands up to me and my humor level, so I definitely give it a B plus. Yeah.
Okay.
How about
Okay.
you, Joe? What are we doing on it?
I'll give it a C. It was
Okay.
it
Yeah,
was
that's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
clever. I didn't necessarily find it funny, but there were parts when I laughed at it. Um,
Right.
and yeah, there was the cast was really good.
The cast is great in it. Um, in my mind, there's a lot of funny scenes, but you're right. It's not. It's not. It's a certain type of humor. It's more ironic humor at points. Um, so yeah.
It made it funnier if you watch it again. Then I can correlate these things that you've been saying about it.
Yep. All right. Well, that's what we think of Raising Arizona. We'd like to thank Pam for putting that in there for us to do. And, we will be back with another either movie review or list or something around movies next week for you guys. It probably will be back on Monday. We had some technical issues yesterday, so we couldn't do that. But we're happy that you guys are watching with us. You know, I just have to say, as I usually do, I keep watching movies and stay geeky, and we'll see you next time.